Okay, so it has been some time now since Nintendo released their new console. And if you haven't bought one yet, then watch this video first. We'll be talking about the pros and cons of the Nintendo Switch 2. Okay, so the Switch 2 costs around $450, and for context, that puts it right between the PS5 and Xbox Series X at launch, which is a choice. Nintendo always march their own drum when it comes to pricing, but this feels like them acknowledging that they're not just competing with mobile games anymore. First off, the performance jump is genuinely impressive. We're talking about a system that can finally handle modern games without looking like they're being run through a calculator. The custom NVIDIA chip with DLSS support is doing some serious heavy lifting here. Games that struggled to maintain 720p on the original Switch are now hitting 1080p handheld and 4K docked. Breath of the Wild finally runs at a consistent 60 FPS, which only took 7 years. The new Zelda game has a draw distance that make the original Switch version looks like it's running in fog. The battery life is surprisingly solid too. It has a 5520 mAh battery size and can last around 4 to 6 hours depending on what you're playing, which is actually better than what the original Switch managed with demanding games. The 120Hz, nearly 8-inch OLED display makes everything looks crisp and responsive. Also, the colors are just gorgeous. Backwards compatibility is here and it works really well. Your physical Switch games just work. Digital games transfer to your Nintendo account and many of them automatically get enhanced performance. It's like getting free upgrades for games you already own. The game library is genuinely good. Mario Odyssey 2, Metroid Prime 4, and the new Zelda. These are system sellers that you literally cannot play anywhere else, and third-party support has been impressive too. We're getting actual current-gen versions of games instead of miracle ports that barely function. And the console itself is just really great. The build quality feels premium in a way that Nintendo consoles haven't always managed. It's got this solid, substantial feel without being heavy, and the material feels like they can actually handle being tossed in a bag without falling apart. The kickstand is finally sturdy, no more flimsy plastics that breaks easily, and the Joy-Cons click and a satisfying snap and actually feel secure even with magnets. The dock feels more robust, like it's built to last rather than just being functional. But what really gets me is that it feels like Nintendo is finally making a console that doesn't make you choose between their amazing games and decent performance. For years, buying Nintendo console meant accepting compromises. Yeah, Mario is great, but it's gonna look rough and run at 25 FPS sometimes. The Switch 2 feels like Nintendo finally giving fans both the joy from their iconic game exclusives and good graphics with actual decent performance. Alright, so those are actual good points, but let's be real about the downsides, because there are definitely some things to consider before buying this thing. That $450 price tag is just the beginning. When you factor in what you'll realistically spend on games, accessories, and online subscriptions, you're looking at $600 to $700 for the full experience. Nintendo's game pricing hasn't gotten any friendlier either. First-party titles are still at $60 to $70 and they rarely go on sale. While backwards compatibility exists, it's not always the free upgrade paradise it initially seems. Some games get automatic enhanced modes, which is great, but others are getting remastered versions that you have to buy again. So you're potentially rebuying games you already own. Third-party games are another consideration. Sure, you can play Cyberpunk on Switch 2, but you're paying $60 for what essentially is the same experience you can get for $20 on Steam. Portability is great, but is it worth the $40? I mean, yeah, I guess if you haven't played the game anywhere else before, then I guess it's worth it. Speaking of portability, if you already have PC handheld devices like Steam Deck or ROG Ally, the value proposition gets murky. The Switch 2 has Nintendo exclusives, but you're looking at much more limited overall library and higher game prices. If you're a current Switch owner who's happy with what you've got, this might not be an urgent purchase unless you're really bothered by the performance issues or desperately want those exclusives. Your original Switch isn't suddenly obsolete. So, after weighing the pros and cons, would actually buy this thing? Well, if you're a Nintendo fan who skipped on the original Switch, this is probably a great entry point. You get the entire Switch library plus all the new stuff and everything runs well than it ever has. If you do a lot of traveling or have a long commute, the improved battery life and performance makes this a solid portable gaming machine. Being able to play full console games on a train never gets old. If you're already happy with a Steam Deck or other PC handheld, the decision comes down to whether you need those Nintendo exclusives. The Switch 2 does Nintendo games better anywhere else, but that might be all it does for you. Current Switch owners might want to wait and see. If your games is running fine and you're not dying to play the new exclusives, there is no rush. The Switch 2 will still be here in 6 months, possibly with a bundle or a price drop. So here's my take. The Switch 2 is a solid console that successfully addresses most of the original Switch's limitations. The performance improvements are real, the game library is strong, and if you're into Nintendo's ecosystem, you'll probably love it. The pricing is premium and not unreasonable for what you're getting, especially considering the hybrid nature of the exclusive games. And whether it's worth it, it really depends on your gaming habits and what you value. If you're someone who values portable gaming, loves Nintendo exclusives, or need a great family console, the Switch 2 delivers on all of those fronts. If you're more budget conscious or primarily game on PC, you might want to think it over. There is no rush, and the console isn't going anywhere, and there's always a chance Nintendo will do holiday bundles or we'll see some deals down the line, but if you've got money and you want it now, it's genuinely a good console that'll probably make you happy. The Switch 2 is a genuinely good console, but it's probably overpriced for around $50. The performance improvements are real, the game library is solid, and it fixes most of the original Switch's limitation. But that $450 price tag is doing a lot of work, especially when you factor in Nintendo's premium game pricing. You're not just buying a console, you're buying into an ecosystem that's going to cost you more than the alternatives. The Switch 2 feels like Nintendo finally making the console they wanted to make 7 years ago. It's powerful, it's polished, and it plays great games, but it's also expensive in a way that makes you think about whether you need it right now. My advice? If you're on the fence, wait for the holiday season or see if Nintendo does any bundles. The console isn't going anywhere and there's a good chance you'll be able to get it for less with games included if you're patient. At the end of the day, it's a Nintendo console. It's going to do Nintendo things really well and everything else pretty well. And it's going to cost you more than you think it should, and whether that's worth it? It depends on how much you value having Mario in your pocket. And yeah, anyway, so that's it for today's video, and if you like this one, then just hit that like and subscribe to my channel because it helps. Anyway, so yeah, see y'all later.